Kyrie, he's had his trouble and run-ins, but not with anything on the outside. He's had it with the media. So he put out a statement, and this is just the ending of the statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Kyrie Irving said, "My goal this season is to let my work on and off the court speak for itself. Life hit differently this year, and it requires me to move differently. So this is the beginning of that change." He left this statement really open-ended. What people got from this statement is that he doesn't want to talk to the media. I know today, just before we started recording the show, he got fined $25,000 from the league for not, appearing at these media appearances. And just what are your thoughts on Kyrie Irving not speaking to the media?
I think Kyrie, his mindset is everything I say, people flip it and try to make me look like the bad guy. So I guess his response is, I'm not going to talk to the media. But I feel like that's a coward move, because this is a part of your job. This is what you like. This is one of the requirements of your job. Like, you can't just tell them you're not going to do something at your job. And I feel like if you want people to interpret what you say the way you want to, then say it right. I feel like some of the things he says, he means it, but because they don't interpret it. I think Kyrie's mind is a lot different than regular people on earth. It's a very strange mind, and I feel like when he says something, he means it, but he just doesn't say it the way he processes it. So when we interpret it, it's like Kyrie's all confused. But I still think he needs to talk to the media, because there's going to be a lot of questions around that team. And for fans, this is something that we need. We want to hear the players talk. So I think this is just a coward move, in my opinion.
I know people have blown this up. I don't think it's as serious as people have tried to make it out to be, because I've seen the training camp media sessions. I watch all of the Knicks ones when Tom Thibodeau talks, or Emmanuel Quickly or Dennis Smith. I watch those, and to be honest, most of them are really dull. There's no context. All they do is ask pretty silly questions.
Yeah.
I get that it's their job to do it, but they mostly ask silly questions. Like, I was watching the Zion one earlier today, and they asked Zion if he thinks he's going to work well with Steven Adams. Like, they ask questions like that. So I understand why. I think the sessions are pretty meaningless at this point in time. But at the same time, it is Kyrie's job to show up and do it. That being said, I think that players should get some leeway. If they're not feeling well, if they don't, they don't have to show up. But for Kyrie to pretty much kind of just try to not show up at all, I mean, there are people that interpreted this differently. I know Nick Freer of the USA Today and Scott Thompson of SNY, they said they've insisted that Kyrie's comments doesn't insist that he's going to do a media blackout. He's going to hold out on the media. They just think he's going to do it for now, for the training camp sessions. But then again, he's not specific with what he wants to do. And at the end of the day, talking to the media for NBA players is like us clocking into work.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of your job. It's part of it. It's contractual. So like Stephen A was talking about, and he was 100%
He was
right,
going crazy,
that you should be fined every time you don't talk to the media, because you can't just do whatever you want to do. You're getting paid so much money to not only play basketball, but to do these other things that require you to do your job. And when we talk about the media and the NBA, the only reason the NBA is as big as it is because of the promotion that the media offers as well.
right?
The only reason we talk about basketball 24/7 is because everybody's always talking about basketball 24/7. If nobody's able to talk about it, if these athletes just go and play, we're not really going to, make a whole scene. It's not going to be the drama that it really is. So I don't know. I think Kyrie looks bad in this because he's just kind of been contradicting himself everywhere he's went. When he left LeBron, when he first left LeBron, he said he wanted to be the man. Then he goes to Boston. Everybody knows there was a bad ending. He threw Brad Stevens under the bus a lot of times in his time in Boston. And even Marcus Smart has talked about Kyrie Irving's mood swings. And he's talked about how you didn't know what mood he was going to show up each and every day.
Right.
Nets officials have said that was a concern. So there are things with Kyrie that, he's done wrong, which is why we look at him a bit differently right now.
I I do agree. That's basically like if we go to work, like me and you go into work and we're on patrol relief and we don't like do our scans. That would be considered something that we're supposed to do and we don't do it. It's like this is something this is a part of your job now. This is your life. You have to. If you don't want to do this, then don't play basketball anymore. It's that simple. Like you signed the contract, you have to do it. I think, look, he doesn't have to do it all the time. I definitely think an after game interview is needed. Like those are needed. You have to do a post game. I think those are essential. But I think training camp, okay, that makes sense. Like you said, he could hold off on that. But during the season, to say he has to. His comments every time he speaks, he's not specific. He just says a pretty bland, blunt comment, and it just goes into silence again. And it's weird. He has to stop doing stuff like that because it's confusing the media and it's making him look bad. But then he gets mad at us because we interpret it the way he says it.
The problem is every single time the media is on Kyrie Irving, he basically says that it's a clickbait society and he, bashes the media, which there's a lot of clickbait. But when it comes to him, it's not really like that. It's what he says.
Yeah.
He talked when he was on a podcast with KD and he talked about the last second shot and playing with another player that can hit those shots. Everybody came to the conclusion that it was LeBron. Kyrie said it wasn't about LeBron.
So who was it about?
Exactly. But then
Tristan Thompson?
But then you look, and just a couple of days ago, LeBron's on a podcast with RJ Jefferson and with Richard Jefferson, my bad.
Chain and Fry.
Yeah, with Richard Jefferson. And LeBron even talked about how he thought the comments were about him and he felt hurt by the comments. So Kyrie says it wasn't about LeBron, but even LeBron thinks it was about him.
Because who are you talking about? Kevin Love? Like
exactly. So even though I think this is kind of a clickbait society, you are not taking accountability for what you're saying. You are not taking accountability for your actions. And I think that's the first thing you have to do. And it just shows. That's why I don't think that the Nets are going to work, because I think you have more Kyrie than KD. I think
KD's kind of the same, but
KD's more laid back and chill. He's straight up. He's straightforward. Kyrie's more in his own world on trying to figure out his third eye, trying to, meditate to get chakras. Like he's that type of guy, very spiritual.
Yeah.
But spiritual to a point where it's detrimental.
He's like the Kanye of the NBA.
Kanye?
Yeah, it's literally what he's like. He's crazy.